Hello, we are going to get started with this Be Happy Now card deck training. I want to give you 5 ways, maybe a little more, to learn how to use your new Be Happy Now card deck. And first, I want to welcome you as newbies in Happiness Hives. Shortly, I will be inviting you to become part of the Happy Bee Society, which is where we can go even deeper in learning how to use this card deck as a process to move into a more natural living lifestyle. My goal has always been to be free from the pharmaceutical model of healthcare. And by living a natural lifestyle, I've personally been able to do that. So this does not, of course, talk about acute things like if you get in an accident, then our medical model is amazing. So let's share the screen and I will give you the 30-second. I'm going to share my screen in just a minute. So 25 years ago, this is my quick story. I turned my back on the entire pharmaceutical model of healthcare. I had 4 children at home, 4 home births. I opted out of all well-child doctor visits, so never took them to any well-child doctor visits. They never had a pediatrician, no toxic injections, and no antibiotics. And during those 25 years, I learned how to use whole food, herbs, and home remedies to keep my children healthy. And it all started on this foundation of whole food. Back in October, my business coach, mentioned to do a card deck. He's like, you should do a card deck. And it just resonated with me. And then as I was praying, it was almost like in 24 hours, I had this whole download on how to organize these cards. And it's all of the things that I've learned. I've trained in over 20 modalities. I've been a massage therapist, reflexologist, herbalist, all of these different things that I've trained in. And the system that came to me was a 53 card deck. So there's 7 categories with 7 cards each, 3 wild cards, and 1 joker. And that is how the deck is organized. So now when you get your new Be Happy Now card deck, what do you do with it? Well, let's get started. I'm going to share the screen so that you can see. Right. Here are some, I'm going to share right there. And here we are. Okay, so this is your card deck training, how to start playing. And let's move over. Here we go. First, we're going to start with a card of the day. So when you have your card deck, you have an energy field. And so you want to sort of infuse your energy field with your card deck and set an intention. So usually I would hold the card deck to the center of my chest and I'm going to set an intention. And this is how I do it. I just think that I'm going to do my card of the day drawing. So which card is best for me right now for today? And then you can shuffle the deck, or sometimes people like to cut the deck. Some people like to spread the deck out on a counter. However you do it, shuffle the deck, choose a card for the card of the day, and then you're going to look at all of the things on the card. So as you can see on the screen, ooh, you know what I wish I had for the screen, where I could use a little arrow and highlight. Not quite sure how to do that. But as you can see, every card has 5 things. It has a number, a category, an action, an affirmation, inspiration, and the essential oil. So when I look at the card of the day, you can see at the bottom, the action is detox tea. So if this was our card of the day, then I would go make some detox tea. And when you become part of the Happy Bee Society, then you would be able to go click on the card deck course. So you could click on that and you could see, what is a detox tea? How do I make it? How much should I use? But for easy play, if you don't have any detox tea at your house, drink a cup of herbal tea, because the detox tea is an herbal tea. It's a custom blend that I created as a nutritionist. And it just helps you, if you drink it hot with each meal, helps you to digest your food. And so you can drink it before bed, you can drink it when you wake up. So that's the action of the day, detox tea. The inspiration affirmation is you are stronger than you think you are. And sometimes we just need to hear positive words. Words are what's creating the stories of our life. We live in our heads, we think about the past, we think about the future, and there's all of these words swirling around. Take control of your mind by taking control of the things that you're telling yourself. You are stronger than you think you are. You can turn this into an affirmation by switching up the words a little bit. I am stronger than I think. And then that could be something that you think about when your mind is cycling into negative thoughts, because every thought goes out and it has to come back. So if it's a negative thought, that negative energy goes out into the world and it comes back to you, which is why this part of the card can be really, really powerful. So I am stronger than I think. I am stronger than I think. And you can use this when you don't think you can do something. I am stronger than I think. You can push through. And then finally, at the bottom, there's the essential oils. So if you happen to have this essential oil, use it. If you don't, let me explain how the essential oils work with the card deck. So at the bottom of each card, except for the Joker card, there's an essential oil. They're alphabetized. So arborvitae moves to basil, moves to bergamot, moves to birch and wintergreen. Some of the cards have 2 oils on them, and that's because these oils are very similar. Birch and wintergreen are very similar. They smell almost exactly the same, but wintergreen you can take internally, birch you can't. So if you want to use essential oils, then I alphabetize them because most people just have a few essential oils on hand. And so that way you can easily go through, pull out, let's say you've got about 10 essential oils. So now you've got all of your cards with the 10 essential oils that you have. And then you could draw from one of those oils for what you need that day. So that is the card of the day. Let's move on to section card draw. So now we're going to do, this is where you're going to choose just a section. So there's 3 sections. There's the action on the card. There's the inspiration or affirmation and the essential oil. So right now I need an action. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm coming down with a cold. So maybe let's see what action I could take to help me get better. And this is how natural remedies work. They layer. So maybe you do one thing, maybe you do another, and anything in these card decks can help. So let's do an action first. Or you can just set the intention for what's the action that would help me the most today, that would be in my highest and best good. And then taking some fiber. So today I'm going to take some fiber. Now let's look back at our card deck. And now let's say you want to set your intention for an inspiration or affirmation because you just feel awful. You had some really bad news. Someone was mean to you. You just feel off. Do you ever get that energy where you just feel off and you're like, I don't know. So this is where you need some affirmation, inspiration time. So you set that intention, the affirmation, inspiration that I need. And I found the one person who can change life, me. Or if you're looking on the section card draw at inspiration affirmation, you see it says, I radiate self-confidence because I value myself. And I should have used that as an example. If you go back to step 1 and you look above, the action is dance. Looking at the middle card, your inspiration affirmation, you can read it. The inspiration is, or this is also an affirmation, I radiate self-confidence because I value myself. I radiate self-confidence because I value myself. These are things you can say in the mirror. And the third one is we talked about using essential oils, how you go through the deck, you pull out the essential oils that you need, or maybe you're looking for the essential oil that you need. And if you don't have it, this is one that you want to go and purchase. So then once again, you set your intention for the essential oil that you need. And then on the card on screen is peppermint. And then the card I just drew is cilantro. So that is a really fun way to start using the essential oils that you have. I've had numerous clients and friends tell me that they have a little shoebox with essential oils. but they don't know how to use them, so they're all tucked away. Now you can start using your essential oils and you don't even have to think very hard about it. So let's move on to the wild cards. There are 3 wild cards in the deck. And these are your daily habits. When I share an intro with the card deck, I talk about how the first section of the card deck is whole foods. This is your house. This is the house that you build. And the foundation of your physical body are the foods that you eat. But where you build the house, the location is extremely important. These are the location cards that to create a good location, these are cards, your daily habits, things that you do every day. So every day you could look at each of these cards. And what else makes a wild card different is there's 2 actions on it. So normally on the deck, you have a category and then an action. But on a wild card, you have action, action. So the first card, if you look at the top, it says water. Water, getting enough water is essential to your health and well-being. So drinking enough water usually looks like 3 to 4 quarts of water a day. The bare minimum of water just for your body to function is 2 quarts, which is 8 cups. So we usually need to drink more than that. But if you're starting from hardly drinking any water, I encourage people to take 1 or take at least 2 quart jars, maybe 4, and you fill them up in the morning. And then if you fill up a water bottle, you go from here and then you can see how much water you're drinking. The next aspect of this wild card is love. If you had love for yourself, every part of you. And that love radiated out to where you loved every person you came in contact with. You were grateful for your life, that this is what will change you. Love can heal anything. You wouldn't even really need, if you had that kind of selfless, unconditional love, the rest of these cards to heal, because you would naturally heal. But we need to be reminded, many things happen in our lives where it makes us feel unlovable. And this is why this love card is so important, because every day you deserve love and I love myself. There was a wonderful book written called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And in the book, he talks about how he lost his really good job. He lost his relationship, his girlfriend left. His health, he was feeling awful. And so he was just laying in bed. And he thought, you know what? I can't control anything else in my life now, but I can control what thoughts are going out. So for 30 days, anytime I start thinking anything that's not a positive thought, I'm going to say, I love myself. So over and over, he would repeat, I love myself. I love myself. And at first, it didn't feel very meaningful. It didn't feel real. It felt awkward and uncomfortable. But the more he said it, the easier it became to say. Many times he would look in the mirror, I love myself. I love myself. By the end of 30 days, everything had shifted because he changed his energy. Everything is just energy and vibration. And the thoughts you think raise your energy. Essential oils raise your vibration. And so do all of these wild cards. So that's to use I love myself. The essential oils on this card are rose, jasmine, and magnolia. Very much good for the heart and for love. The next wild card is, if you can see it in the middle, it says ground. And that is the first action. We need to be outside. Nature will heal us if we take the time to put our feet on the ground barefoot. Even when it's cold, go out for like 60 seconds. I did this with my daughter. She wasn't feeling good. So she's like, okay, I'll do whatever you say. So I'm like, okay, the lake's right there. Let's take off our shoes. Let's go down and stand in the water for 10 minutes. That was way too long. It was really cold and she just wasn't up for that. But even going in, walking on the sand, staying in for a short amount of time was really beneficial. Going barefoot on the ground reestablishes this energy work pattern, this energy that you have in your body. The earth has a magnetic field and so do you do. And the earth helps to put your magnetic field back where it needs to be, which can reduce pain, it can reduce inflammation, it can help you to sleep better. It can reduce anxiety and depression. It's very, very powerful. The more time you stay outside grounding, the better. There was a book written called Earthing, and there was a man in Alaska who discovered the benefits of what he called earthing, standing outside barefoot. And the longer he stood outside, the less pain he had, the less inflammation. And he told all of his town, and pretty soon all these people, remember, this is Alaska. It's cold pretty much most of the year. And they would go outside barefoot. They'd maybe use a shovel, dig a spot so they could stand on the frozen ground. But it worked, and it helped many, many people in town. And then connecting to that higher source while you're outside barefoot, this is your chance to connect to God, whether you're doing it through prayer or intention. It doesn't matter so much the words as that connection to something greater than yourself. This is where true healing comes from. There's an energy field outside of us. And sometimes when I was doing meditation classes, the field of all possibilities. And when you connect to that, anything becomes possible. Miracles can happen. So pray, connect to that. And then the words, I am worthy. I have worked with many, many people. I do a lot with emotional healing, and worthiness is a big issue. Not feeling worthy, that you're worthy of things good in your life, that you're worthy to have what you want. I remember in high school how I was struggling, and remember one day when I thought, you know what? I'm not even worthy to pray to God anymore. And what a low, low point in my life that was, because that is never true. You always have an innate worth and value that no matter what you do can never be taken away. My daughter actually just shared a beautiful story about, I think it was a Japanese family, and this man had killed one of their children. Now, for many people, that's unforgivable. You could never forgive that. You can never get over a hurt like that. And as a mother who's lost a child, it's a deep loss. But this family felt this love, they felt this forgiveness, and they went to that man and they held him, and that forgiveness is what heals. What if those parents, how did those parents, when they move forward with their life with that level of forgiveness, will it help their own healing? It's for you, you forgiving, you being worthy of every good thing. You are worthy of forgiveness. You're worthy of love. And the final one is, if you look at the bottom one, it says breathe. Breath work can save you. If you struggle with anxiety, creating a regular breathwork practice so that when you start getting into anxious states, you can start healing yourself, but you have to have a practice established beforehand. There's 3 simple breathwork practices that I like. There's a lot of them that I do, but the 3 simple ones are just start breathing into your stomach and pushing it out. Breathing into your chest and breathe in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And just this is like a circle breath. Into the belly, into the chest, out through your mouth. And you're extending your abdomen. Belly, chest. And we would do that slowly. Another one that I like is box breathing. This works really good if you're a visual learner, because in your mind, you're going to visually create a box. And so you would close your eyes. And this is another, before I close my eyes, another great time to use an essential oil. You can put it on your hands so that you can inhale it while you're doing your breathwork practice, or you could have a diffuser going. You could have rubbed some on your chest if you don't want to bring your hands up to your face. But the box breathing, it's where you're inhaling for 4, you're holding 4, exhale 4, and hold your lungs empty for 4. And while you're doing that, you can, as you inhale, I draw this little line in my mind up, And then I hold my lungs full for 4. And then, while I'm holding, I'm drawing a little line over until I've drawn a whole box with 4 basic counts. And one of the final breathwork practices, and those two are enough. So now you have 2 breathwork practices, and then meditate. I'm really excited to open up my new commercial space, my new room at the Heat Praxia. They're having their little healing hives up above. So my Happiness Hives business will go there, where I can start teaching people meditation, do small group meditation classes. Because meditation, if there was one thing that will help you, it's being able to slow and control your own mind. It's become commonplace where people are like, well, I can't meditate, I can't quiet my mind, but it's like a muscle. It's like saying, yeah, I worked out once and it doesn't even look like I worked out. What's the same with meditation? You can meditate once and you're probably not going to notice a lot of difference in your mind. The change of meditation comes when you set a regular practice. And it's good to meditate 2 times per day. Once in the morning, like right after you get up. Deepak Chopra used to say RPM, rise, P, meditate. So even if it's for 1 minute or 5 minutes, you're just sitting down, and this is a great time. You could just do a breathwork meditation where you're doing your breath work for a few minutes. And then once more before you eat dinner. So at some point, because that's calming you down, rest and digest. And so meditation practice, I teach a primordial sound meditation, which is a mantra-based meditation, along with other forms, but that's one that I love and that I'll be really focusing on teaching, because I think it's powerful to be able to meditate without needing background noise, phone, guides. You guide yourself into it and you bring yourself out of it. And I am safe. This is something else. Many people have had experiences through their life where they weren't safe. They might have had extended periods of time living with people and environments that were not safe. And that can keep you in this constant state of fight or flight. So this affirmation of I am safe, might be the one that you need to say over and over, calming yourself down. And then you can see the essential oils on the bottom of those. But thank you. So that is how to use the wild cards. Let's move on. We have just 6 more minutes. The Joker card. This is what I like to call the most powerful card in the deck. So this is the card that you use when you're struggling with someone. Maybe they've caused you pain, they've taken advantage of you, or this is a card you can use if you know someone who's suffering or they just need help. And it's as simple. It's called Ho'oponopono, and it's an ancient Hawaiian form of energy work. And the 4 basic phrases are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you begin with the person's name. You don't have to do this out loud. So you can, once again, close your eyes. You get a good visual of the person that's struggling. You think their name, and you don't have to say these words out loud, but if you're alone, you can. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You can do those phrases in any order that makes you happy. I like starting with the person's name. And one of my favorite times to do this is if I'm really angry at someone or I'm upset. And it could even be the driver who just cut you off and they're in front of you. And instead of allowing yourself and all these anger hormones that age you and cause you digestive issues, let's get rid of them by using this energy work. So that driver in front of you, you keep going to, okay, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. The I'm sorry comes because we recognize that any negative thought you think goes out in the world and creates more negative and then comes back to you. Same with the positive thoughts. So you might think you're only putting yourself down with your negative words, but that energy is going out, and unfortunately it has to come back. That's what some people call karma. It's just an energetic exchange. But you can, did you know there is one way to reduce your karma, to eliminate it without it having to come back, and that is through meditation. A regular meditation practice erases karma, and I believe that this energy work does as well. So that is the power. I had one experience where there was this girl and she was really struggling and no one had seen her for a few years. Her dad didn't know where she was. And I heard about her and I thought about her name. And this is before I even knew much, but her name came up and I'd known a little bit. And then it's sort of between wake and sleep. You wake up, you're not quite ready to get out of bed. It's not time, but you're not ready to go back to sleep. And this is the perfect time to do this Ho'oponopono energy work. So I thought of her, had a hard time picturing it, couldn't remember what she looked like, but just her name, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And just did this energy work for a while. That day, she called her sister to reconnect with their dad. And it's just amazing. You never know what effect you can have on someone's life. And finally, it's a category draw. So there's 7 cards and 7 categories with 7 cards each. So you pull 1 card from each category, and now you've got your 7 categories. And then you just say, what category do I need to focus on today? Or maybe you want to focus on a whole category for the week. And then declutter. So, and that's the card that's up. So you can see where the category says declutter. The categories are whole food. So maybe you could focus on getting your whole food in for the week if you want to do a week's worth of a category. Move. These are energetic movements. Great when you're feeling anxious or depressed or just mentally not real stable. That's what the move cards are for. Declutter, de-stress, detox, herbs, and home remedies. Those are your category choices. And so then you can focus on one for the day or for the week. So let's say you have your whole food category, or let's say the declutter category is up. So you pull all of your declutter cards and you can do them by order. They're all numbered 15, 16, 17, or maybe, and then you just be like, I'm going to do 5 minutes in each room, or I'm going to spend an hour, or I'm going to work on one room until it's done. What's the best room to me to start in if you can't make a decision? That's the wonder about these card deck. It's to help you keep moving forward, because sometimes we get stuck in our own heads and we can't make a decision. And this can really help you. I want to thank you for joining me today as we focused on learning about how to use 5 ways of play for the Be Happy Now card deck. Sending you lots of love.